Two great rivals with a history of heartstoppers. Melbourne and Southside, and away we go. LJ from deep.
That's the way she wants to start.
Hillman inside for her first points of the night. There's Leilani, bobs up again and drains it. Boomers a little stunned. Conti, important shot to start the final term. Exactly what they needed. Well done, Southside again, great D. Cole, go herself, and Canada rejects.
Can she finish this? She does!
1 point game, Keely Froling on fire.
It's just a walk in the park for Leilani, these free throws.
Canada, Hillman, time's going to expire. Froling will put up the two. And Southside take game one over the Boomers. Which means it's a sudden death Saturday night for the Melbourne Boomers at the Boombox. They must defeat the Southside Flyers to send their semi-final series to a Game 3 decider. The Boomers are banged up but not beaten, and they showed in Game 1 they still have the weapons to stretch Southside, with League MVP Jordan Canada and a red-hot Keely Froling proving a handful. The Flyers got the job done with their blend of youthful athleticism and composed experience down the stretch. They've won 7 of their last 9 to assume championship favouritism, and one more victory would see them into their 4th grand final in 5 seasons. It's the Melbourne Boomers and the Southside Flyers. Game 2 starts now. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Cygnett WNBL semi-finals as we continue into Game 2 thanks to Foot Locker. Jason Bennett alongside Carrie Graff and Larissa Anderson for the Boomers and the Flyers. And Riss, those first 2 Game 1s could not have been better. They were entertaining basketball, and haven't they set the table for Game 2?
It sure has. We could not have asked for anything better. A bit of everything in both games, and hopefully we're in store for the same tonight.
They were fast, they were furious. The defence was great. The offence was even better.
Yeah, I mean, it was big-time players stepping up in big-time moments. We see that in finals all the time, and we saw that in both Game 1. So looking forward to what Game 2 tonight has.
Let's dig a little deeper into Game 1. It was Wednesday night at the Boombox. The Boomers led narrowly at the first 2 changes. In fact, they led by 2 points with 2:23 left to play in the third term. The Flyers then got on an 11-zip run to end the quarter. They took a 9-point lead to the last change. The Boomers got within 2 points with 14 seconds to play. Leilani Mitchell iced the game. 4 free throws in the last 20 seconds. And her poise got them over the line, 80-76.
Yeah, look, I mean, she was just phenomenal. Like, she has poise, she has composure, she plays off the ball screen exceptionally well. She knows who to get the ball to and when. She's an on-court coach, and that's what you want in playoffs.
Let's welcome in the 4th member of our commentary team this evening. Megan Huswaite is courtside. And Megs, the banged-up Boomers, well, the news got even worse for them today.
It sure did, Jace. It's the news that sent shockwaves through this WNBL final series, and that is that Sarah Blitzarves is out of this final series for the Melbourne Boomers. The Boomers announcing this injury news on social media today. I spoke to Sarah Blitzarves a short time ago, and she told me she has a fractured shin. She is on crutches and will be on crutches for the next 4 to 6 weeks. This is an injury that came to light off the back of the Opals Olympic qualifying tournament in Brazil last month. So terrible news for Sarah and the Boomers there. Also on the injury front, it's been 7 weeks today since Penina Davidson injured her calf against Townsville here at Parkville. She has warmed up tonight but told me she will not be playing. It's a day-by-day proposition. She's just getting back into one-on-one, which is good news. But if the Boomers can win tonight and send it to a deciding Game 3 just like they did 12 months ago, Penina will be a chance. So some fingers crossed for the Boomers on all fronts tonight.
Thanks, Megs. Well, the Stars came out to play in Game 1. And it was an engaging battle, Graffy, between the bigs. Naz Hillman, Mercedes Russell.
Yeah, look, and I'd be scared if I was both coaches, because neither of them, point scoring-wise, were their normal selves. They both average a double-double across the season, but they bring so much more. I mean, they're both great rebounders. Mercedes Russell is an unbelievable feeder of the ball. They've both got great IQ. That one's going to be a ripper tonight. They'll get a rest. I don't know that they'll match up on each other defensively. Actually, they will. So let's see which one of those two can step up and score tonight.
Riss, the battle between Keely Froling and Lauren Jackson in Game 1, that was must-see TV. It was fantastic to watch, and both ended up top scoring for their teams.
Didn't they both step up? Froling pretty much doubled her average season average. LJ, as you were saying off the screen, is first final in 14 years, and didn't she come to play?
20 points for Lauren Jackson. We take a look at the guard battle, Graffy. Two really smart, composed guards in Jordan Canada and Leilani Mitchell. Quite different, but in many ways quite similar.
Yeah, I mean, mouth-watering to watch both of them play. Really different styles. You know, MVP in Jordan Canada can get downhill, can score, can involve her teammates, can hit the open three. She's super quick. She's lightning fast. Lay, on the other hand, veteran experience, renowned to step up with time plays in big-time games. Ball screen offense, she just knows where to get the ball, score if she needs to. And critically for her team, Southside, she can deliver the ball to the bigs. That one's going to be a ripper. They won't defend each other, so they get a little rest in that. But boy, the impact these two can have for their teams is absolutely critical.
Chris, from an adjustment perspective for Chris Lucas, speaking to him in the lead-up, he told us that he wants this team to go inside more. He wants Nars to get more touches and more shots.
Yeah, I think that's vital. She really was quiet. We know that she's carrying and nursing a ankle injury, so hopefully she's all good to go tonight. But it would be great to see them go into her. She's been the difference when they've beaten the Flyers this season. So, and on the flip side, I'd love to see them adjust their defence a little bit against the likes of LJ, who really did hurt them in game one.
Yeah, Chris Lucas saying that he'd like to see this score holding the Flyers down at the low 70s, which won't be easy, Graph, but he certainly doesn't want to see a 90 to 86 scoreline again.
No, absolutely, and easier said than done. But I think you got to focus on who can you limit, and I think that you got to try and wear down Leilani Mitchell. Can you fatigue her? I think we'll see different pick and roll defences thrown at her at different times. Can they make her do more work? I think, you know, her seeing different personnel have an impact on can they limit the scoring. It's not just her scoring, it's how she distributes the ball and involves the rest of her teammates.
All four games between these teams, 2 apiece this year, all been tight. 7 points, 6 points, 2 points and 4 points. So just nothing between them at all. The winner of this series to progress to the grand final to face the winner of our other semi-final series between Townsville and Perth. Game 2 of that one tomorrow afternoon in Perth, 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 WA, 2:30 Queensland. You'll see it right here on ESPN. Saturday night, sudden death shootout for Melbourne at the Boombox. Last year, the Flyers took game 1. The Boomers responded by dominating game 2. Can they keep their season alive, or will Southside sweep them on their way to another grand final? The 23-24 Cygnett WNBL semi-finals continue. Game 2 at the Boombox, thanks to Foot Locker. Leilani Mitchell will have first possession for the Flyers. Rochi to Russell. Cole goes inside. Jackson's got Hillman early. Can't quite get it to drop. There's the size of Mercedes Russell.
Well, that's the thing, you know, you got one big wheeling and dealing and one big sitting on the rim. So LJ misses that nice little play, little cross screen on the baseline to get her open. Mercedes Russell essentially has a tip in.
Massive crowd at the Boombox, close to a sellout. Fantastic to see. Saturday night hoops in Melbourne. Canada loses the handle. Rochi gleefully pinches it and then draws a foul.
Maddie Rochi's defence on Canada is going to be huge for them tonight. We'll see them dig in, get her hands in, be physical.
Early win there for Rochi. She receives the inbound from Mitchell. Cole has got Amy Rochi for company. Got a little bit of space. Front iron and away comes Conti versus Rochi. That was fun to watch in game 1. Nice feed through. Rowling takes it to the rack and gets fouled.
That's exactly what the Boomers need to do. Get clean rebounds and run. That's a great job by Trolling getting on the rim there.
So a couple of X factors really for Melbourne, Graffy, and Amy Rochi and Monique Conti, who both shot really well from long range in game 1.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we've spoken about sort of the big three for the Melbourne Boomers. One of them there, Keely Froling, had a ripper in game 1, shot the lights out. Canada, we know, is the MVP. Naz Hillman will step up for them, but it's what are the difference makers? Can Conti hit the 3 again tonight? Can Amy Rochi get involved more offensively?
Second one doesn't drop, and Russell whisks it away. Rochi to Jackson. Russell looks to get on position inside. Rochi versus Conti. Maddie just steps back, gives herself some room. Russell back to Rochi. Look at the defence from Conti, right up in her face. Cole, a nice little shimmy step. Canada will take it away.
Melbourne Boomers will be happy with those last couple of defensive stanzas.
Catch and release from Conti. The two Boomers got in each other's way, Froling and Hillman. Away comes Mitchell. Nicely done by Froling. Slaps it clear of Cole.
You know, with all due respect to the people that can score on the Southside Flyers team, if you're going to pick a player to take a couple of shots in a row, then out of that 5 on the floor, hey, let Beck Cole take a couple. Let's make her step up. Keep the ball out of Leilani's hands. Keep the ball out of the block to Jackson. Keep Russell out of ball screen action.
And both Cole's shots have had to be in that last final 3 seconds.
Rocci, front iron. Froling comes up with it. Battle of the board's going to be critical. Melbourne, the #1 rebounding team in the competition, but they were beaten on the glass in game 1. 22nd chance points to 5 in favour of Southside. It won them the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amy Rocci sets her feet. Cole to Maddie Rocci, her sister-in-law. Amy's, that is, not Beck's. I'll draw you a diagram. Cole inside. Russell takes the shot. Away comes Conti, always looking to put some speed on the ball to make something happen. Froling. Canada. It's a screen and feeds it through. Well done, Jackson. Away comes Rocci again. So not quite the same high-octane offence we saw in the first few minutes the other night when everything dropped. At the moment, it's hard going.
The team's a little tentative, a little nervous. Some shots long, some shots short. Speaks to he's not yet in the rhythm of the game, still shaking up a few nerves.
Got a real big game feel, and rightly so. It's must-win for the Boomers. That one rattles around from Rocci.
A lot of three-point shots going up too. I'm a bit surprised Flyers haven't gone inside the last couple of possessions.
Russell to Cole. Neither team able to get much penetration so far. Mitchell, another long ball, doesn't go. Jackson comes up with it. Cole, beautiful step on Canada. Hillman came across and did enough. They're none for 7 between them on three-point shots rather. And Hillman breaks the drought. Finally one will drop.
And of all people, Hillman.
So Nars Hillman shooting at 33% from long range this season, her first in the WNBL. Russell, back to Cole. Little baseline jumper is good.
Good in-out basketball there. Great movement.
Canada, Conti sets the feet in the corner. She was red hot from long range in game 1, Mon Conti. Cole against Conti. Almost knocked free. Canada nearly pinched it. Jackson, back to Beck. Shot clock to 7. Beck puts one up. That won't go. Rafi, what are you making of it early? Offensive struggles at both ends.
Yeah, interestingly, you know, Leilani, I haven't seen Leilani Mitchell in a ball screen action yet with Jackson or Russell. Offensively, the ball's gone through Beck Cole's hands a lot. I think they need to switch that up a little bit, get Lay involved to get that ball into their bigs.
There's Mitchell. Hands it to Jackson, who gives it back to Leilani, finds some space, takes on the D and draws a foul.
I agree. The ball movement right now is fairly stagnant for both teams and they're taking early shots. If they're going in, absolutely go for it. But right now they're not. So I think they really need to get that ball movement and inside-outside game.
And work it through Mitchell. You know, she's the on-court general. She knows who, when, how, what. You know, she'll pull up which defender she wants in a ball screen or go to a different set where we saw earlier. Jackson coming off a little big cross screen on the baseline. You know, the ball was sticking a bit there. Like I said, Cole had 4 shots early.
Combined 1 of 10 from long range. Megs courtside.
Leilani Mitchell, one of several players that swapped between the clubs in the off-season. But what about this lady with the ball, Amy Rocci, captain of the Flyers last season, but injured, leading from the sidelines, and now she's starting against her old team in the finals. A great WNBL story.
It is indeed, Megs, and she was really good in game 1. Some veteran experience and composure in big moments. Hillman puts it on the floor against Jackson, lost the handle, gave it to Canada. Froling comes in, but she can't stop the board from Russell.
It's tough when great undersized rebounders in Froling. Rocci gets on the rim.
It's a tough finish, and it almost dropped.
You know, you can block out, get a body on Russell and Jackson, but, you know, you're giving up 3, 4, 5 inches.
Conti, the bullet bounced past to Froling, who did well to handle it. Hillman to Canada. Well done, Russell knocked it away, straight into the arms of Mitchell. Jackson pulls up and drains it.
great. I mean, this is where Russell, she mightn't score in some games, but her defensive presence and the things that she does for a team at that end are exceptional.
The Boomers find some offensive rhythm. Conti against Mitchell. Again for three.
Yeah, Southside now doing a good job of holding Melbourne Boomers into a half-court grind.
Which isn't the Boomers' go. Rochi, Jackson. All but dropped. It is tense at the boombox. Conti, Hillman, Froling.
I think Boomers need to be just that little bit more patient. Hillman has looked to attack LJ a couple of times, but kind of hasn't backed herself and kicked it out. I thought Froling did an amazing job attacking their bigs in game one.
Melbourne 1 for 9 from the field. Southside 3 for 13, Megs.
Two players who had a great impact for their teams on Wednesday night, Tara Reid and Jasmine Dickey, into the game for the first time in game two.
Thanks, Megs. Tara definitely gave them a spark when she came off the bench in game one. Dickey was just outstanding. Off hands, was it off Potch? It was. Melbourne ball.
Good D then by the Melbourne Boomers. Contested long-range pull-up two by Dickey. Happy with that defence. Forced an early shot, over a hand, contested hand.
Rochi to Reid. Tara versus Potch. Dickey came across to support. Foul called on Nadio.
Rafi, you talk about the importance of Leilani Mitchell. I think Jordan Canada, on the flip side, the ball's hardly gone through her hands for Boomers either. So probably a little bit of the same style going on for both teams at the moment.
Yeah, Canada's seen given up a couple of times. Happy for Rochi or Connie run the plays. I agree. I think get the ball in her hands and
Amy under the hoop. Had it, lost it. Nadio pinched it.
I think she was very open, a bit late.
All loose turnovers for the Melbourne Boomers.
Rochi, Dickey, Jackson, Potch. Whistle off the ball.
God, talk about a turn of events. We're 8 points to 4 with just under 3 minutes to go. They were nearly 30 in game one.
We were expecting it was going to be a lower scoring grind, but more so because the defence stepped up as opposed to at the moment the offences are just clunky.
They are. I mean, shooting percentages woeful. I mean, it's going left, it's going right, it's going long, it's going short. There's, it's certainly not clean.
So Christy Wallace into the game with 3 minutes to play in the first term. Potch, good body position.
Great pass.
Russell tries to clear out some space on Froling. So we spoke about pre-game the use of Christy Wallace. How do you use her tonight? You know she's a match winner when she's fit, but obviously far from fit at the moment. That knee's still giving her problems.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, it's a conundrum for a coach and certainly for an athlete like Christy Wallace. Had so much adversity to handle with injury. Had a cracking season off the back of two ACLs, been injured through the essentially entire season. Really struggled in game one. She's in now 2.5 minutes to finish out this first quarter. I think you've got to run her off the screen and try and get her a shot early. See if you can get a little confidence. She's not the same with the ball in her hands, trying to play off the dribble, but I guess it's that tough one. Do you roll her out and see what you can get? And if not, you got to park it and play by committee.
There's Wallace to Rochi. Back to Christie in the corner. Back to Rochi. Canada.
Little 2-3 zone.
Amy steps past her sister and Lauren scores.
That's what they've got to do. Move the ball, put it on the floor, try and attack the Flyers.
Dickey against Wallace. Bit of a rivalry already between those two. This is only the second time they've met. They haven't spent that much time on each other, but fair to say, they're not big fans. Here's Christie. Reid, she gets to the rack.
Much better. I mean, the Boomers are just so much better to watch when they put the ball on the floor.
And they've reduced the margin to a point. With 2 minutes to play in the opening term. Graffi, your thoughts on the first 8 minutes?
Yeah, look, I mean, it's been a grind. You'd say, is the defence forced poor shots? I don't think so. It seems a little nervy to me.
Inside the Southside huddle, here's Cheryl Chambers.
We're just going to go small for half a second. You're in the 4 spot. You're in the 4 spot. We're just going to go small while they're small. having said that, it's not the big problem, it's the littles. We need to contain our players. All right? Let's move the ball through, see if we can get through. We're going to go weak next time without... No, we're not. We're going to go one side. If it's slow, other than that, one up is fine. Go into it. Make sure you're a target because we've only got one big on for a minute here. All right? So you've got Canada. I don't know who you've got. You've got Reed, and then you two have got whoever's there, all right? Just stop them penetrating, okay? And box out and run here. Come on, here we go.
Timeout
Southside.
brought to you by CTM Sport, here to transform your team's travel experience. Leave all the hassles of off-court arrangements to ctmsport.com.au. Rish, your thoughts on Cheryl's message?
Look, she's pretty much getting after her guards there to try and contain, but I think lack of split line. I think personally, defensively, I thought that was really smart by the Boomers to attack the gap in the key. So she just wants to see some better defence here.
Speaking of the Boomers, Megs was with Chris Lucas.
Well, they're going to see a bit more of Jordan Canada as Graffy, I think actually Larissa, called for, and Christy Harrower just affirming to the group that Nadia Potch is now in the 4. And there she is.
Can't score, but is fouled. Continue, Megs.
And they're just wary of the impact that she can have and the players that they can bring in because of their depth through the various positions.
Megan Huxway courtside with all the latest, letting us know that Sarah Blitzarms is out for the rest of the season with a fractured shin. Penina Davidson, day-to-day proposition with that calf injury. Won't suit up tonight. Here's Potch at the line.
I really like this look that the Flyers have gone with Nadia Potch in the 4. It makes them very quick. She's a very tall 3-man at 6'2", very quick, very athletic.
Struggled from the free throw line this season to 64%. This is both there.
Both teams struggling from the field, shooting at 25 and 20% respectively, with Southside at 20.
Reed attacks the hoop.
It's a great job by Reed.
Again, she's changed the dynamic of this offense when she's come into the game 2 nights in a row. Cole receives back from Russell. Here's Mitchell. Boomers lead. Mercedes versus Froling. Gets to a position. Tough finish. Won't drop. She's had a couple that have rolled around.
Froling doing a good job physically to keep Russell further away from the rim.
Wallace almost pulled the trigger. Canada the look away. Froling. Rochi back to Froling. Again, they look to penetrate. And again, it works, Riss.
It's just much better ball movement. It's creating that gap in the key for the girls to put the ball on the floor. But Froling needs to keep doing that. She's a hard matchup against these slower bigs.
Long-range shot won't go. Reed again involved. Off to Canada. Boomers on top for the first time tonight. Tara again attacks the hoop. They've found something that works, Graffy, and they'll keep going to the well until it dries up.
Absolutely, and yeah, then you've got to make an adjustment. Reed's driven right 3 times in a row. Like you've got to know the scouts, send her a different way. She's gone middle and right, as we see penetration by Mitchell.
Off to Potch and 1.
You know, containment D critical. That's the way Boomers have got this lead, through the sheer focus on put the ball on the deck. Let's get your feet in the key and attack, and it's
working.
As you say, go to the well until the well runs dry. You can drive middle, you can drive baseline. You can, right now, it's a defensive sieve at that end for Southside.
Nadia missed her first couple, makes that one. So Melbourne got on a 10-point run after nothing was dropping for them early. They lead by a couple. The final play of the first term. Wallace has it.
God, I'd love to see Christy Wallace make a basket here.
A buzzer beater. Nailed a famous one from the opposite wing. Just around about here, actually. Gives it off. Canada. Jordan will go for it. It's short. No harm done. Quarter time. Boomers get their noses in front and a must-win game 2 at the Boombox. Saturday night, ESPN Cygnett WNBL semi-finals. Thanks to Foot Locker.
I think just the fact Melbourne Boomers and Southside Flyers have had this history for so long, and we're crosstown rivals. I just think it can't get better than that, and the games that we have is amazing, the crowd, the engagement. As a player, that's why I love to play. I love the pressure, the atmosphere, what two Melbourne teams can bring. And it probably does go up because there's a bit of beef, you know, when you've been at a club, especially the season before. But I'm so excited for the WNBL fans to come along and watch these games, Boomers versus Flyers, because trust me, it's going to be something special.
Beck Cole understands both sides of this Melbourne rivalry so well, given she spent 5 years and 108 games with the Boomers before crossing to Dandenong, now the Flyers in 2018. She's in her 6th season with Southside, and speaking of the Flyers, Megs was in their huddle.
I sure was. The message from Cheryl Chambers was to stay in front of their players. She said they've got 12 points, so that tells them they've missed a lot. So she wants Jackson, Russell and Poch to get those O boards. They're going to get the ball into Mercedes Russell. She had just 6 points in game 1, but she's already with 3, so that's a good sign. But she finished that quarter-time huddle by saying there's no problem here, but let's not wait 10 minutes to rectify it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, she's going to be saying, contain the goddamn ball. They just got burnt on penetration. Let's see if they can make that defensive adjustment.
Wallace wants some movement, calls for Froling to come at her. Canada looking for a gap in the lane, off to Froling. Poch stands tall, knocked away. Remains a Boomers ball. Risk to Chris Lucas, what are you telling your team?
To keep moving the ball and attacking. That's their game. It's worked all season, and we saw from the start of the game they just can't live and die by that three-point line, particularly right now when they're not really shooting a good percentage. Canada needs to see more of the ball. Great start by Reid.
Wallace to Canada. Shot clock to 3.
There it is.
There it is. And Jordan picks up 2. She's on the board. The league MVP, and the Boomers lead by 4.
Similarly, at this end, get Mitchell engaged in some ball screen action with their bigs. Or little big screens we see here. Get Russell on the rim.
Jackson looks for the option. It's Mitchell. LJ now looking to push to position. Makes good position.
Great
work from Froling to come across. Wallace loses her feet. Mitchell sets up. Drains one.
Shot
No.
clock.
Waved away.
Shot clock violation. Great help there inside. Loving this matchup. They've put Reid up and in on LJ. So let's see how she goes.
Doing a great job too, collapsing in when it goes into the bigs. They've got bodies underneath.
So versatile, Tara Reid. Only stands 182 centimetres, but matching up on Jackson at times. There is Reid. Knocked away, Southside ball.
Christy Wallace wasn't quite aware that was for her then.
Great to see her out there fighting through the pain. You can see that right leg with the guard on it. That knee still causing her problems. Mitchell loses the handle. Conti sweeps it away. Canada, look at those handles. Gets to position, then feeds Froling. Back out to Jordan. Thought about pulling the trigger. Conti puts it on the floor. Now Wallace. Right.
Great job, Conti. That's what the Boomers need. That second, third effort has done such a good job for them all season. So well done getting on the boards.
Crowd holding its breath for Christy Wallace. She's none for 10 from three-point range since returning and 1 for 17. Just feels like she just needs to break the seal, get that first one, and then some more might start to flow.
She had a decent look at it again. Again, that dribble penetration from the Boomers got at an open look.
You've got to call that. What she's going to feel a bit hardly done by, but if you accidentally trip a player up and it causes a turnover, you've got to call it.
Court side to Megs.
Well, Rochi is back into the game, and nobody's more experienced against Melbourne in final series. Tonight is her 18th final. Exactly 9 of them have been against Melbourne in semi-finals.
Thanks, Megs. Froling from long range. Almost for Reid. It's enough to keep it alive. Wallace to Conti. Boomers finding their feet midway through that opening term. Found something that worked, went to it. Front iron for Mon, and away comes Mitchell.
Conti's trying really hard. I think she just needs to be a little bit more patient on her shot selection.
Eddie Rochi.
1 of 11 from three-point range. Melbourne Boomers.
Ouch.
Cole, Rochi.
There we go.
Loaded it, and there's Reid against Jackson. Quick ball movement. Conti. More patient on this occasion. Canada pass. Jackson.
That was much better by Conti. Normally in the last couple of games, she would have put that up, but that was good recognition there. Pull it out. Great basket by Canada.
Boomers up by 6. Russell, Mitchell sizzles a pass inside to Jackson. The turnaround is good.
She really does want to turn over to her right, doesn't she, Graffy? We discussed that off air.
Yeah, look, and they're doing a good job then. Jackson planted herself, didn't come to the low block. She knew there might have been a switch or a little hanging on her on that cross-screen action again. Gets her close to the rim, but clear focus for the Melbourne Boomers. Go at LJ.
Froling couldn't quite get it to finish. Rochi, lovely over the top to Russell. Great connection. Back to a one-possession game.
Melbourne happy to walk the ball up the floor off made baskets.
Canada wants the movement of Conti. Wallace. Back to Mon. Will she take on Mitchell? Running out of space. And away comes Cole. Maddie Rochi. Over the top. Reed again in there scrapping. Well done, Russell. Beat the odds. Kept it alive for Southside.
Mismatch down low. Wallace full fronting Jackson.
Canada versus Mitchell. Shot clock to the death. Rochi not quite.
Great block out, Froling.
Got rid of Jackson. Canada to whisk it away.
I really like the adjustment that the Boomers have made on the post defence. The last couple of times, possessions, they've full fronted.
Canada happy to set it up again. Here comes Froling with a screen. Kicks it out. Wallace. Yes, Christy, that's her spot. And look at the emotion from Christy Wallace. This gave a huge fist pump.
Oh, I feel so happy for her.
Cole in traffic, just puts up a prayer. Bet Cole, brilliant. The game goes up a notch.
Way to silence the crowd too. Score straight off the back of that massive three by Christy Wallace.
Canada turns past Cole. And Jordan, Larissa, getting the ball in her hands more often.
And doesn't it make the Boomers look a lot more dynamic? I mean, good things happen exactly like good things happen for Flyers when Leilani's got the ball in her hands. Canada is just vital for the Boomers.
Some big minutes here now with Canada and Reed sitting down.
Massive. Now, you know, can Flyers make a little surge here? Timeout's called.
Take a break midway through the second term. It's Melbourne's 21, Flyers 18, Saturday night, Cygnett WNBL semi-final action, thanks to Foot Locker.
And here we go. I'm hoping that for maybe this game, well, we're only 3 down. So we need to lock in here and just go again. We don't need to drop any heads. We need to just play hard, get on the boards the whole time here. Okay? I reckon that they think we can't guard them, so you're going to have to just stay in front as best you can. Remember, split line, we rotate out of that. We don't just let the layup. So if someone goes to split, the next person helps, okay? Let's go two down next time. See what we get out of it. Whether we get a mismatch, let's go to it.
Must-win game 2 for the Melbourne Boomers Saturday night. WNBL semi-final action here on ESPN. Thanks to Foot Locker, it's Melbourne by 3 points midway through the second term. Raffy, we just heard Cheryl Chambers in her timeout saying you've got to get on the boards. They dominated them in game 1. They're losing the boards at the moment, and those second chance points aren't flowing.
Exactly. And I mean, credit to Melbourne Boomers. We saw that classic block out. Keely Froling had LJ all on her back, had her locked up. The physicality on the post and on the block outs have been exceptional from the Melbourne Boomers. Interesting here, Naz Hillman's on 2 fouls. Southside, do you run a play straight at her, see if you can, you know, squeeze out a 3rd foul for her at the early stages of this game 2. Beck Cole.
Wide open. Jackson pulls down that board, and another. That's going to help, but you can't finish. And away comes Hillman. So no Canada and no Reed on the floor at the moment. Melbourne only playing really with a rotation of 7 players. So they've got to sit them at some stage to give them a break. So these minutes are crucial. Conti, somehow through traffic, can't finish. Scraps on the deck.
Again.
Whistle goes.
Big penetration from the Melbourne Boomers. A nightmare.
Meggs was in the Boomers huddle.
Well, Chris Lucas wants them to slow it down a little bit. He said they're too quick in the court-to-court at the moment, so try and slow that down for a few minutes here.
And there's Rocci and Conti. Just a tangle of feet, and they both hit the floor. Wrist, as you said, you've got to call those when they just hit the deck. It's an unfortunate accident.
Yes, but you have to call it. Sorry, I'm giggling. That was amusing to watch. I just love that they're up and in and going really hard. Makes me a little nervous having Canada and Reid on the bench at the same time. They've both had such an impact in this game so far. Well, Canada's back on now.
So it was the briefest of rests for Jordan. That's all they can afford.
30 seconds. Sit down, get a drink, you're back in.
That's it.
Ernst from long range. Jordan boxes out and comes up with it.
Ooh, was that a little guess?
She sold it pretty well, Riss.
She did.
Southside.
It's the old hang on, I'll pull out here, and then the ref just thinks, well, if you pulled out, obviously you didn't touch it last.
Lowly 25% from the field. 0 of 7 from the three-point line. You can't buy a basket.
And if you know if Carly Ernst is missing, they're not having a good night. You cannot leave her open.
Rolling, Hillman. Conti, no bodies under the basket now. There is Hillman. Whistle blows.
That's better by Conti, though. A little bit more poise coming off the pick and roll and looking at that diver. That's really hurting the Flyers from the mid-pick and roll.
Both sides scoring by committee. Frolling's got 5 points for Melbourne. Mercedes Russell 5 for the Flyers. That's the leading scorers in the game right now.
Right now we're on track for about a 65-64 ball game.
Which is what Chris Lucas was asking for. That pass from Canada at the feet of Froling, and away comes Jazz Dickey. So athletic, so dynamic, can't finish.
Good D there by Rocci.
Hillman to Canada. Maddie Rocci lurking. Conti over the top. Froling versus Ernst. Does Keeley go herself? She does. Drives, goes with the right and draws a foul. That's a couple of quick ones on Carly Ernst.
Boomers have done that a little bit, and I think they've got to keep doing that. The likes of LJ and Ernst are struggling to guard that smaller, more dynamic forward.
Yeah, Ernst then had good position. Didn't need to bring both arms down. Easy call for the referees to make.
Exactly.
So it's the age-old battle of speed versus size, isn't it? When you've got the speed, you've got to find ways to use it.
Absolutely, and they've done a great job of that. They've put the ball on the deck. That's been the success for them. Getting the free throw line. Game one, they didn't get to the free throw line anywhere near as much as the Southside Flyers did. They've had huge success.
Froling leaves one on the table. It's a 4-point game.
They just have to make those free throws.
Cole versus Canada. Elevates, can't finish. Jordan hits the floor. Conti swoops on it. Kick ahead pass, well read by Jackson. And Maddie Rocci against Conti. Nice step, gets past one. Ernst to Cole. Back to Ernst. Beck, covered by Hillman, feeds it through to Ernst. Good patient offense from Southside.
Stayed jammed on that same side. That two game, but they found a way to get the score. Ernst and Cole.
Back to a one-possession game again. Hillman to Canada. Dickey with the job right now. Back to Nars. Will she drive on Ernst? And a reach-in foul there from Beck Cole.
Game plan for Melbourne Boomers is effective.
That'll send them to the line. Southside in the penalty.
Interesting what Coach Chambers does here. Do you throw a bit of zone, see if you can contain penetration in the zone, force them and take them out, outside shots. Right now, defensively, they've got no answer for penetration. They're not getting rotations on it. They're not getting containment on the first play. Cheap fouls called.
Such an impressive season from Nars Hillman. All second team in her first year. Just 23 years of age. Plays like a young veteran, really. Stepped up in big moments. 35 points last weekend. Rolled the ankle, though. Didn't have much of an impact in game one. Wrist just lacked that extra little bit of agility that makes her special and explosiveness for her to be able to play above her height.
Yeah, which would have been really tough for her because it's so much fun to watch her. All season I've kind of applauded whoever's taught her to use her body. She does it beautifully and it's so much fun to watch. So when you take that agility away, it takes away her strength.
Rocci to a dangerous spot. Extracts a foul of her own.
Same answer. If you guys are doing that and it's effective, let's have a crack ourselves. I'll get downhill. Cut you out of the lane. Sucker a foul.
Mexi courtside.
Leilani Mitchell back into the game for the Flyers. She was just speaking with Cheryl Chambers, the coach and the floor general. How about this for a record between the two as player and coach across 3 different stints at Sydney and Southside? Their win-loss record is 60 wins together and 20 losses.
Yeah, been a dynamic duo. Maddie Rocci playing her 150th game in game 1. Cheryl coaching her 350th.
She's pretty much a coach on the floor for you. I mean, Leilani makes a massive difference.
The Melbourne Boomers happy to just grind out in the half court off free throws and made field goals. See if they can get some execution. Keep this score low. Make Southside defend.
Maddie Rocci. Wide open. Froling. Short. Hillman comes up with it. Boomers get another look. Canada. Probing. Amy Rocci goes herself. Tough finish, won't drop, and it's Hillman again. Draws a foul.
It just makes such a difference. Hillman is so impressive on the boards.
Only stands 188. You put that in perspective, Lauren Jackson is 198, Mercedes Russell 198. So she gives up 10 centimetres, but just has that, you see it there, that elevation can go straight up.
And she
reads it. She gets to the spot. You know, there's penetration going. She follows that driver in, knowing there's going to be a shot or a little dump pass. She's in prime position for the rebound. There was defensive rotation. She's on the O glass with a guard that's rotated onto her, but she's got a nose for the ball. You talked to Chris Lucas and he said her IQ is exceptional. She'll be a future coach, he believes. You know, we don't often say the bigs are coach types and have great IQ. It doesn't.
Who says that?
Often, but she's class, all class.
Great basketball pedigree. Her nana played at Cleveland State. Her mum, Nashima, played at Vanderbilt and for Nashville in the American Basketball League. So she's grown up around the game all her life, and it shows.
Well, just on the back of what Graffy was saying, she just positions herself so beautifully, whether she's posting up or on the boards.
Amy Rocci strips it from Maddie.
That will feel good for Rocci off the back of some great defence.
6-point game. Boomers with their biggest lead of the night so far.
Hopefully she lets her sister-in-law know about that later, picking her pocket.
Family dinner conversation, any which way the win goes.
Wouldn't that be fun?
This timeout brought to you by Cygnett, Australia's #1 digital accessories brand at JB Hi-Fi, Officeworks, other leading retailers, and of course at Cygnett.com. Here's Chris Lucas.
41. Midjo's got you. Yes. 41. You're in the pick here with bring Mercedes into it. So bring this. All right, T. Go hand back, Amy. Here. Screen that for T. See if we can get the rip. Or get her in the side pick and roll and rip baseline. Yeah, you're here. Amy will hand back. Then you got the flare. Then it's a 2 game. See if you can rip baseline. Get to the foul line. Okay, just 2 sides. That's okay. Get the guard to screen her. You screen her. Screen her. She's open. Yes. No. Stay corner.
Okay, judging from that, it might be a low percentage play. We'll see how it pans out. Let's head to Megs. There was a bit of confusion.
Well, it was the captain, Beck Cole, who got the group together at the timeout there, and she said, guys, it's only 6 points. We're playing like trash, but we're not standing for anything right now. Let's stick together. Cheryl Chambers just adding in that the players want to try and find some rhythm here on the eve of halftime.
Thanks, Megs. Russell to Rocci, back to Mercedes, gets good position and finishes.
A little big up screen, bring it big to the rim, easy 2 points. Beck Cole hit it on the money. They are playing like trash. They're playing terribly and they're 4 down.
Yep.
Let's have a look at this play they drew up. There's Reed, she gets it back. Now to the corner, Wallace. Not quite. Away comes Dickey. Chance here for the Flyers to eat into this deficit. Ernst to Rocci, back to Carly. And she's money from there, always has been.
She's money from anywhere. You have to play her up and in or it's going up.
2-point game once again. 90 seconds to play in the first half. A lower scoring affair, as we expected in game 2. Rocci. Mitchell got a little caught up in traffic and Rocci finds Froling.
And penetration, just
Off middle pick and roll again. Flyers are really struggling to guard that middle pick and roll.
Mitchell spins. Reed has the height advantage over her. Russell, good quick hands. Ernst waved away.
I was about to say that's close to 3 seconds in the key. She got it. Good job by Amy Rocci there, holding her ground.
Final minute of the opening half at the Boombox. Flyers taking game 1 by 4 points. As we've said at the start of the show, 5th time they've met this season. Total margin between them has been 17 points combined in those 4 games. Just nothing between these 2 evenly matched teams.
Nice.
Canada, how did she find her way through there? Maddie hates the call.
Splits that long show, verging on trap by Ernst there. Canada just hung that dribble up, split the middle of it here.
Here's another look. Riss, what did you make of it?
Well, I kind of giggle because I'd love to see a Flyers training. I don't think anyone fouls. Every time it's called, everyone's a little bit perplexed. But look, that's been a consistent call in the first quarter. They've just called the same call. So, look, Maddie Rocci was technically straight up, but they called the body.
Maddie pleading her case, looking for some clarification.
And also, it's the MVP.
Yeah. And she split the D so nicely. Give it to her.
She makes both. 6-point game, rather. 45 seconds left. A fired-up Maddie Rocci now.
Massive offensive possession going to halftime here for the Flyers.
Russell to Rocci. It's Rocci versus Rocci.
Yeah, love that matchup.
Mitchell versus Canada. Now Reed comes across. Russell inside. Ernst has got the size advantage on Canada. And 1.
Huge, big to big, inside look again, using their size, going to their advantage. Well executed Southside Flyers.
The Boomers are switching all pick and rolls, so the Flyers did a great job punishing it there. They got 3 seconds in the key the play before. They nailed it that time.
Carly Ernst, what a career she's had. Won a championship with the Boomers after coming back from becoming a mum. Game 285 tonight.
There are a lot of players that have switched sides.
Adds to the rivalry, doesn't it? There's
It really
2 of
does.
them right on the ball right now. Rocci and Mitchell swap sides at the end of last season. Canada and Dickey, a couple of imports. Jordan again shakes free. Off to Amy, who nails it.
They had to make one. That's a massive 3.
Final 5 seconds of the turn. Rocci, can she come back the other way? Needs to put a shot up. Russell can't. Wallace comes up with it. Christie jacks up a bomb. Half-time at the Boombox. Melbourne fighting for their season. And they hold a 6-point lead. They led by 2 at the first change. Extend that to 6 at the major break. It's Melbourne 35, Southside 29. Saturday night hoops at the Boombox. And here's Megs.
Keely Froling is the co-captain of the Melbourne Boomers. What did you work on over the last few days that you've implemented in that first half?
Yeah, not a lot. I think we played a pretty good game for us. It's rebounding and defending their bigs, which they're still trying to go inside, but it's just a little 1% things.
We know they'll come back at you. What are you expecting them to throw you in game 2, second half?
Yeah, we know that, this is going to be a 40-minute real just grind, and you can see it out there. They're going to keep trying to push it inside, but, I think they're tired, we're tired, but it's just going to be a matter of who can play that full 40 minutes.
And who can be less tired?
Exactly.
Go for it, Keely.
Thanks.
Thanks to Keely Froling and Megan Huswaite. It's half-time, game 2 at the Boombox. The Boomers leading it by 6 points. Coming up in our Cygnett WNBL semi-final half-time show. Thanks to Foot Locker, we head to the break. Here's our top 3 plays from that epic game 1 between the Fire and the Lynx on Thursday night. Away comes McDonald. Can they get a quick strike here? Perth tries to turn pass and does. Cass Brown and 1. Reed for the lead. No. Sammy comes up with
Ready?
She wraps around. Reed's been everywhere. Reed's been hot tonight.
And new faces, and I really just want us to gel and to enjoy playing in the WNBL. Not everyone gets to do that. And being so riddled with injuries throughout my career, I understand that it can be taken away so easily. I always look forward to playing top teams. So whether that's Southside or Townsville this year or whoever's that team to chase, I'm always excited to play that. Championship is always the goal. I'd love to play in a grand final. I've never been able to for the WNBL, but such an opportunity would be really special and be really special for the Melbourne Boomers fans and club. We're hoping we can do that with this group.
It's been an incredibly frustrating season for Kristy Wallace, coming off the back of an all-first season last year where she finally got the chance to be healthy and show everyone what she's capable of after 2 ACL injuries that robbed her of the first 2.5 years of her pro career. Graffy had to sit for most of the season. She's back for 4 games, obviously still working through that knee problem. It's causing her grief, but she's come on, she's had an impact. She always provides a spark.
Yeah, absolutely. And I thought they used her smarter tonight. Didn't have her handle the ball so much, put her in positions where she could catch and shoot and be that shooter. And you could see the relief on her when she hit that first 3. Had a nice other look in the corner, but I think that's how they got to use her.
Let's take a look at the first half action. Very different game to game 1 as we expected.
With that right now. I agree with Graffy in terms of the defence, but again, offensively, I think Boomers have to take a lot of credit in what they're forcing the Flyers to do, only scoring 29 points.
Nars Hillman having much more of an impact tonight, 7 points, 6 rebounds. And Amy Rochi, we spoke up at the start of the night as a potential X factor. She's come into the game, had 7 points, started tonight, and really had an impact.
She's had a great impact. I mean, there's no love lost here. She left the Flyers last year as captain, came into the Boomers this year, and she's now starting. Credit to her, and now up against her sister-in-law. She's had a great start. She's on 7 points. I love the spread of scoring the Boomers have got right now. Everybody's stepping up, and that's exactly what they needed to do. But her defence, she's really up and in and creating some trouble.
Let's head courtside. Megan Huswaite with a very special guest, our fan MVP, Jade Melbourne.
That's right, Jace. Well, it wouldn't be a Melbourne derby without having a bit of Jade Melbourne here. How have you enjoyed the first half?
Yeah, it's been good. You know, a bit of a slow start offensively for both teams, but I think they're both getting great looks and, yeah, excited for a good second half. But, yeah, it's been great so far.
Let's sit insight into the guard matchups. You've played on all of those guards during the season. In fact, you had such a tough battle with Jordan Canada. Your tooth lodged into her head and caused a concussion. But how tough is she to play on?
She's so tough. You know, you think you've taken one thing away and she'll hit you with something else, and then you think you've scouted that and she'll hit you with another move. So, you know, I think they've done a great job keeping her quiet so far, but she's a superstar and they're not going to keep her down for too long. So, yeah, I think Rocher's doing a great job. I think Lay's doing a great job as well. But yeah, overall, I think, yeah, the guards in this comp are so good, so it's been a great battle so far.
You are one of those guards, of course, a rising star of the WNBL. You've played in one WNBL final, Jade Melbourne. That was in your debut season for Canberra in the hub season. Canberra lost to Melbourne in that game. We know Canberra has been on the bottom the last few years, but lots of great signs with the young talent, so it can only be up from here and hopefully back into some postseason action.
Yeah, 100%. Hopefully we can retain our core. There's some exciting stuff happening in Canberra, and, you know, we obviously want to get off the bottom of the ladder. So we grew again this season, but we're going bigger and better again next season.
Graffy's in the studio. I can just sense that she's nodding right now with a big smile. Jade, it was great to see you on court and doing so well for the Opals at the Olympic qualifiers in Brazil last month. How enjoyable was that, and how great was the experience?
Unbelievable. You know, anytime you get to put on the green and gold, it's an unbelievable experience. Great group of girls, limited prep. We went over there with the goal to qualify for Paris. We did that. We won all 3 games. So overall, yeah, loved every minute of the experience. Yeah, caught the travel bug. Just want to continue to represent the Opals as much as I can.
Travel bug will continue back to Seattle for your second WNBA season. You must be looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to a bit of time off right now. We've got the whole of March off, which is very, very nice and refreshing. But yeah, looking forward to heading back to Seattle for year 2. My faves, Sammy and Ezzy, are there. Jules back, and we've recruited some superstars in Necker and Skylar. So it's going to be great. Sadie's is going to be there too. It's going to be a great season, and yeah, looking forward to getting stuck in a year 2.
Always a pleasure to see and speak to you, Jade Melbourne. Go and enjoy the second half.
Likewise, Megan Huxley.
One of the young stars of Australian basketball, Jade Melbourne, joining us at halftime. That wraps up our WNBL Game 2 halftime show. Thanks to Foot Locker. The Boomers up by 6 at the main break. Third quarter action next. Welcome back. Cygnett WNBL semi-finals on your home of hoops ESPN. Thanks to Foot Locker, a must-win game 2 for the Melbourne Boomers. They led by 2 points at quarter time, 6 at the half. The challenge is to play those 40 minutes, as Keely Froling mentioned, Riss. In game 1, they led by, well, basically this same sort of situation, led for all the way through to about 2 minutes to play in the third quarter, and then Southside just opened the faucet, 11 points in a couple of minutes and blew the game out.
It's virtually identical. Boomers are playing, well, they're playing like they've got to win this game to stay alive. So it is absolutely identical. Flyers would be thinking, we can't play any worse and we're only 6 points down. So Boomers just had that little horrible patch in the third quarter where the Flyers took over and the Boomers never fully recovered. So hopefully they can stay in front and keep doing what they've been doing so well.
Miggsy courtside.
I just caught the end of Cheryl Chambers' pre-third quarter address to her team at the bench. They're going to go with horns here with the first play and see how Melbourne guard it. But the message really was getting on the boards, and they've got Lauren Jackson and Mercedes Russell, the normal starting 5 starting here. Obviously, they've got Potch, who can come in and play an impact on D as well, but Cheryl just really encouraging of the players to really get their sleeves up here and play some D to start this third quarter.
Thanks, Megs. +3 on the rebound count for Melbourne. Importantly, second chance points just 2 apiece after it was +15 for the Flyers in the first game. Russell, here is Jackson. Good start to the second half for the Flyers.
Oh, just great inside-outside game and great finish by LJ.
They halved the deficit in 20 seconds. Rochi to Hillman. Both had an impact in that first half. Canada being guarded by Rochi. One way back the other. Adjust in midair. Jackson comes over the top. Southside ball.
That was much better split line by Bet Cole then. Came across and forced a pretty tough contested shot by Jordan Kennedy. I was about to say what a great drive by Canada, but better help.
Adjustment clearly at halftime from Southside. Poor rotation defensively in the first half. Poor containment D. We're going to run some horns action again here.
Mitchell, Russell, Jackson, and back to Leilani. Now wide open, calling for it was Maddie Rochi. Defensive breakdown from the Boomers, and just like that, the deficit's been erased.
First three-point make it again for the Southside Flyers. Takes them to 1 of 9 from three-point land.
That 6-point lead disappears in the first minute of the third term. Now some pressure on the Boomers, fighting for their season. Canada, Froling, puts it on the floor against Russell, kicks it to Hillman. Now to Canada, they work it round the arc. Conti ends up with it.
Great ball movement, Boomers.
Cole's called for the foul. Conti will take 3.
Here's a look at Maddie Rochi wide open. Mon Conti can erase that 3 by going to the line and draining 3 free throws at the other end.
Straight off the back of an LJ 3. I mean, Flyers could not buy a basket in the first half, and now they're 2 from 2.
Very rarely to the line this year, Mon. Her 20th game. That's just her 7th free throw of the entire season. She was 4 for 6 coming into that one.
All a shooter needs is to make a couple of free throws to get your eye in. If you can make one.
Or miss a couple and get your eye out, as may be.
Chris Lucas with a pained look on his face. Those points are a premium in this one. Now the pressure on Mon to make the third. She does.
There you go.
Bet Cole was playing it. She fouled her on purpose.
Yeah, she absolutely will.
Saved them 2 points. Mitchell, Russell up against Hillman. Jackson. It was like Lauren's ready to explode in this second half. Cole gets to position. That won't go.
Melbourne Boomers doing a great job defending the little big screen action.
Beck 2 for 9 tonight.
Great pass. Oh,
big rejection.
The smallest player on the floor says, not in my house.
Nay from Lay.
There's something you don't see every day.
Bang!
That was massive.
Good timing defensively on that rotation.
I've got a big smile on my face about that one. That was very nice.
Boomers have the inbound. Conti to Hillman. Rochi. Back to Conti, inside now to Froling. Matched up with Jackson. There's a self, reverse is good.
Great job, Froling, particularly when she just had the you-know-what blocked out of her. That's a great response.
the stuffing.
Thank you.
Russell. He's back to Mercedes. Can they work the two? They do. Pressure remains. She can't shake the D. She does now get some space. Patient, rolls around, doesn't drop.
Foul on LJ. That rebound. Oh, no.
Oh, dear.
Keely's not happy about that.
I don't think I would be either. That was just a good battle, I thought.
Here's another look.
Look at it.
That's an interesting call.
Yeah, I think let the players play on that one.
Keely had front position.
Melbourne, you've got to credit
Not sure how you reach behind and foul, but that was the call. Mitchell.
Little scratchy head moment.
Away comes Conti.
Oh.
Held up by Rochi. So she retreats. Canada to Froling. Jackson read it and slapped it away.
That hurts with Froling. A bit of foul trouble, has to have a seat here. The rest won't do her any harm, though.
Third foul for her. Really only 7 players, as we mentioned, in Melbourne's rotation tonight. No Sarah Blitzarbs. She's out for the rest of the season with a fractured shin. No Penina Davidson tonight. Christy Wallace carrying that knee injury. Jordan Canada comes up with 2 more. She's up to 8 points.
She was giving that mid-range jump shot up in the first half. That's a really good sign that she looked at that.
Jackson to Mitchell. So Reid has the job on Jackson at the moment.
Look at that battle.
16-centimetre difference between Tara and Lauren. And Mercedes drains the 2.
Great read by Mercedes Russell. Her defender had plugged off to help down on Jackson. She lifted high, made the catch.
Conti athletically kept it alive. Rochi, tough finish is beautiful.
That's a great drive and finish by Rochi.
Melbourne hanging tough. Southside came at them hard in the opening minute of the third. They're back out to a 5-point lead. Mitchell, lovely. Just mid-play, can just slow things down and find the right option. This time it was Russell.
All class, and that's what they need. Ball in her hands more often. Let her control tempo, let her get her team settled, let her get the ball to the right people in the right spots. Right now it's Mercedes Russell.
To Rochi against Mitchell again from a similar spot.
Up the other end, really smart by Rochi to attack Leilani Mitchell there. But on the back again of what Gracie was saying, I don't know a player that creates more time for herself than Leilani Mitchell. She just does it so beautifully.
Megan Huswaite courtside.
Fabulous crowd, Melbourne derby atmosphere, as Larissa Anderson knows. She played for both the clubs and coached Dandenong Rangers as well. And for these sideline reporting ears, there's lots of cheering, but no cowbells over my shoulder.
No bells. No cowbells. 11 of 14 from the free throw line, Amy Rochi this season.
Melbourne Boomers, clearly a clear tactic for them is go at Leilani Mitchell with penetration, go at LJ with penetration.
Go at Russell.
Yep. It's all, can we get downhill against them, challenge their containment defence.
Amy Rochi averaging 5 points a game. She's up to 11. Whistle blows, play halts. So Amy Rochi really stepping up in a time of need. And Riz, we talk about veteran experience. She's 30 years of age. She's playing game number 238. And you've just seen that in these last 2 games. Bigger stage, and she's stepped up.
She really does. And she is really experienced, and she has played a lot of finals, and she is a great team player. So, I mean, she had 11 points in game 1. She's already on 11 now. That is exactly what the Boomers needed. They needed players to step up. She is well and truly doing that.
Really relishing the opportunity. Getting a start. Couple of starts now in this series.
She's had such a tough run with injuries too. I'm really happy to see her be able to put a season together like this.
Rochi to Mitchell. Boomers by 5. Here's Maddie in that same spot she made the last. Not this time. Well done, Poch. Was out of position. Can't finish. And Wallace comes away with it.
Physicality inside on those rebound plays has been exceptional for the Melbourne Boomers. They got bodies on.
Wants to drive on Rochi. Swatted away by Russell, and here comes Mitchell.
The Flyers have got themselves some really good second chance points, and they're just not nailing them.
Wallace slaps it clear. Christy Wallace working on one leg. Just gritting her teeth and fighting for a team. Must-win game for the Boomers. Russell. Jackson from the stripe. Always going to be good.
How is she that open?
Even when she rattles it in.
To a 1 possession. 5.5 to play in the third. These are the dangerous minutes coming up for Melbourne. It's where Southside made their move in game 1. Reed against Russell. Well played, Tara Reed.
Wow, just found the body of Mercedes Russell. Russell's generally so good at keeping space, using her length. Reed just kept going at her, found her body.
Can't believe she's 182 centimetres wrist. The way she plays, a little bit like Hillman. They've both got this ability to use their undersize as an advantage.
Look, she's just a beautifully typical New Zealand player that just plays so tough and uses her size beautifully.
Tall for a guard, but you look at the matchup she's getting tonight. She's not playing as a guard, Graffy.
And that's where her guard skills come into play. She's like, all right, I'm gonna, like we said, get into the body, get into the armpit of the shot blocker, tangled Mercedes Russell up, and gave the referees no choice but to call a foul. She has shot blocker's ability. She
has played a lot in the fourth spot over her career, and you can see it.
Boomers up by 5 again. Mitchell to Poch. Thinks about inside to Jackson. That's where it goes now. Had position on Reed.
Oh. Great high-low. Well executed then by the Southside Flyers. They saw that plug defence down, throw the ball to the elbow to the big, get LJ on a seal and roll.
They counted at wrist.
That's really, like, they called the whistle, they blew the whistle, stopped play, and then LJ shot it and they've counted it. So again, that's interesting.
And the extra. Seesawing affair in this third term. Jackson up to 12, Russell 11. So the bigs tonight, both involved. 23 points between Mercedes and Lauren. Here's Rochi. Out to Reed. It's short. Bodies hit the floor. Wallace and Poch.
Oh, who are they going to call this on? Wally or Nards?
It's on Poch.
This is pretty much the timing that the Boomers just lost their cool a little bit in game one. They really just need to be poised and patient through this and keep executing.
Cheryl Chambers wants clarification. Tell me why.
Well, she's a bit confused as to why Nadia Poch got pinged that foul. She thought it should have been on Christy Wallace.
Read the inbound. Hillman. Here is Wallace versus Poch. That battle continues. Rochi versus Mitchell. Reed can go over the top. Hillman against LJ. Shoots over the top.
Oh, nice little, opened her up, a little inside-out pivot. Dropped it down, said, no, you're going to play space. You're worried about containing me. Now I've opened a little short corner shot.
There are some beautiful post players out on the floor for our juniors and up-and-coming to watch.
Now LJ to return the favour. It's short. Hillman wins that little battle.
Physical, Hillman getting underneath LJ.
Great running, Hillman.
Oh.
And the foul on Jackson.
She's not happy.
Could we say we're not happy? Yeah.
That was a block. That was clearly a block. Let's have a look at the replay. No, she got ball and wrist. Good call, referee. I retract my statement.
Running at the floor there from Hillman, involved at one end wrist and then back under the hoop at the other.
That is her bread and butter, and it's so good to see her doing that. She causes so many teams grief doing it.
Soon look on the face of Cheryl Chambers. She knows her team's not playing well, but having said that, they only trail by 5. And as we saw in game one, when they get on top, they can light it up quickly. Went on an 11-zip run in the last 2:23 of that term. This term, the third.
They certainly can. They can pile on points very, very quickly.
Difference for them here when they've been involving both bigs offensively. This is what we'd call for. Get the ball in Leilani Mitchell's hands, let her direct traffic, let her get the right people in the right spots. Look again for some high-low action.
Dickey hasn't had the impact yet that she had in game one.
Melbourne defensively have been tough. Payment, sending people to the ball on penetration. Canada, the MVP.
She just saw the seas part and she took it. That was beautiful.
Melbourne back up by 8. That's their equal biggest lead of the night.
Coach Chambers might call a timeout here. Halt the momentum, down 8.
Rochi double-teamed and fouled.
I am super impressed in the adjustment. We spoke about it quite a lot off air in the Boomers' defence on the post. They allowed LJ to do whatever she wanted to do in game one.
So some discussion around who the foul's being called on.
It was on Canada, I think.
I think it's been called on Hillman. It's her third. Canada was saying, no, it's mine, give it to me.
Yeah, because it defended.
Yeah. So here is Canada. Off the steal. Reed. Back to Jordan. Set the feet, then goes herself. A little hand in there from Dickey was important. Wallace. Hillman. Reed. Turns around Jackson. Gets through some traffic and finishes.
How's that ball movement, though? Every single player touched the ball.
And there's the timeout. Melbourne up by 10. 3 minutes to play in the third term. Saturday night, Cygnett WNBL semi-finals on ESPN, thanks to Foot Locker.
We've got two participants here, Ellie and Angela. They've already got their gowns on. What they need to do is race up the court here with their hat and their degree. Meet me back in the middle. First person to do that goes home with a $100 voucher.
They just put the ball to the floor, so we've got to stop them penetrating. Okay, so you're in the middle of the zone, you're on the side. Coley, I think you're on the back of the zone here, okay? Only on a score. Other than that, we're in a man-to-man and we have to look after the ball. Okay, still look for the high-low stuff, but keep moving it on if we haven't got anything. They can't guard it. Reed can't guard it. Whoever's got Reed on him, let's go 2 out this time. Actually, go 2 down. 2 down. Can we do 35? Let's try 35. Yeah, okay, let's go 35. Does everyone know that? Here we go. Southside.
3 minutes to play in the third term. Game 2 of this best-of-3 series. Melbourne fighting for their season at the Boombox in front of a full house. It's Melbourne 54, Southside 44. Scores level in the opening minute of the third term before the Boomers got back on top. Megs was in their huddle.
Tara Reid is going to switch on to Mercedes Russell here. Chris Lucas wants continued movement from his team and was applauding Christy Wallace for the defence that she's playing so far in this game.
Thanks, Megs. So now up to the Flyers to respond out of this timeout. Lovely find. Russell wide open.
Straight to the mismatch, inside to their star player. She averages a double-double. She's one of the big bigs in the league.
Reed to Rochi. Away comes Maddie Rochi. So a chance here for Southside to eat into that deficit quickly, as they did in the opening minute. Reed got a hand on it. Ernst keeps it alive. Here's Rochi. Slight fumble, so she'll hold it up. Ernst got the mismatch on Canada. Somehow Canada came up with it. Incredible. Is that Wallace down in backfield? It is. Well, wait. She's back in the play. Hillman throws to no one. Jordan, Canada, somehow, I said they had the mismatch. Jordan at 166 centimetres. Carly Ernst at 196. 30-centimetre difference, and Jordan came down with it.
Oh, I'm just super impressed with the adjustment. It's the post defence. They're trying to full front the post to try and deny that pass inside, and right now it's doing a really good job for them.
Rochi. Cole. Such important minutes, these ones now. Last 2 minutes of the third. Ernst turns around. That's sweet.
Melbourne Boomers' defensive intensity is through the roof. Ernst just kept calm there. Felt she had a mismatch.
Gets it back to 6.
So we can see some zone defence here from the Flyers called out of the timeout.
Reed.
Great job.
To Hillman and one.
And that's how you beat a zone. Great ball movement, great penetration.
And you go to a zone and pack it in. You've still got to be able to contain penetration there. Up to the nail, right in the middle of that free throw line. Forces someone to match up on.
It's great identification. She looked left and then realised, Graffy, hey, I'm open here.
That's it. No one's on me. I'm going to put the ball on the deck, draw it, bring Mercedes Russell, that centre player to you, dump it inside to Hillman. Boy, Reed's been impressive.
She sure has. As has Hillman.
Hillman takes her tally to 12.
Takes a rest as Keely Froling checks back into the game.
Froling with three fouls. Interesting here. Do you go straight at her? Trying to extract her fourth, get her frustrated.
Southside carve into this deficit again late in the third. Rochi.
Here they go.
Russell and Froling. She's going to take her on. Hands it off now to Cole. Back to Mercedes. Keely can't really contest.
Great play. Go to that. She's going to have to stand up and not defend.
Every time the Flyers go inside, outside, back in, they get a nice, easy look.
Wallace, we all held our breath when she went down. Canada nails one from downtown.
It's that high post entry. Flyers have got to try and deny the ball going to that high post.
Margin back to 10. Final minute of the third.
Bring on game 3, Jason Graffy. We all want a game 3.
Ernst again. Southside just discovered something that's working for them.
Well, they're going to the mismatch. They're saying Reed's undersized. Ernst has got that beautiful inside-out pivot, short corner shot 3. They're just going to go to that mismatch. It's all at this end for the Southside Flyers. Can they defend? Can they stem this flow?
Rolling to Wallace. 4 seconds. Canada again from long range. Not this time. And Colt comes up with it. No gap between shot and game clock. They can run it down themselves. Cole. Ernst. Starting to get a hot hand. Here's Beck. To the corner. Big bucket. No, not quite. Froling in there, scrapping. Bodies hit the floor.
Foul's called. Might be on Ernst. She pulled Reed to the floor. Did the referees catch it?
It is on Carly Ernst. They spotted it. Their third personal. Mad scramble under the hoops. Tried to slap it away from Froling. Took Reed down with her.
Boomers are just doing such a great job defensively. It's making everything tough for the Flyers. It's challenging them to be super patient every single possession.
And they're in the bonus, so with just 1 second left, a real bonus for Melbourne to go to the free throw line for Tara Reid, who, as she did in game 1, has just changed the dynamic.
Absolutely. You know, defensively, she's got involved. Second quarter, put the ball on the deck and got to the rim. There, through aggressive attack on the boards, forces Ernst to get a sucker foul. Coach killer that foul. 1 second to go. You lose momentum going into this fourth. 12-point deficit. 10-point deficit.
As we turn for home at the Boombox, must-win game for Melbourne. They lead it by 10 points. Melbourne 62, Southside 52. ESPN Cygnett WNBL semi-finals. Thanks to Foot Locker. Leilani Mitchell with a highlight as the Flyers surged early in the third term. They eliminated their 6-point halftime deficit in the first minute. But after that, Graffy, the Boomers really held their nerve and re-established a lead.
Absolutely, and it all came through their defence. I mean, defensively, they've been impressive. Disruptive, high intensity, plugging in on the post, undersized mismatch on the post, getting full fronts. everything's come from their defence, and they've got it to score where they want. They've got this a low-scoring affair. They're holding the Southside Flyers to 52 points.
Let's head courtside to Megs.
Cheryl Chambers feels like the Flyers are fighting with themselves so far in this game. We know that the officiating at times frustrated the Flyers camp in the third quarter. Chambers urging her players to play through it. They'll go man-to-man to start here, and the Flyers want 3 stops to start this final term.
Wrist free throws, Melbourne 18 of 22, holding their nerve at the line. The Flyers have only been to the line 11 times tonight.
Well, that's just purely because the Boomers are doing such a fantastic job at putting it on the floor and creating that.
Reid can't start with a bang in this final term. They lead by 10 points. Mitchell to Jackson. They were the 2 veterans that combined late in the game in game 1 and just settled things down and made the right decisions at the right moments. Rochi works on Reid. Back to Jackson. Thought about the inside ball to Russell. Shot clock down to 3. Leilani finds space where there is none.
Vintage Mitchell, forced under pressure due to shot clock low, finds a way, gets in the lane, leans off it, nails it.
Margin back to 8. Wallace just puts her head down, drives and scores.
How's that for a basket?
Impressive.
I don't think she even looked at the basket then.
Mitchell spins past Rochi. Russell. Reid's got the match up there at the moment. Cole uses LJ.
I mean, that just looks so easy when they put the ball on the floor and get it to their big girls.
Bucket for bucket to start this final term. Wallace.
Great drive.
Rochi drives again. Draws a foul. Won't drop.
Got some confidence now, Christy Wallace.
4th foul on Maddie Rochi. See some frustration that Wallace has been feeling for the last 6 months. Starting to bubble to the surface.
But once again, you can see there is 0 split line or help coming across. I mean, if split line's there, we're not in a situation where Rochi even has a chance to call a foul.
78% from the stripe in her career, Christy Wallace. This is the first. Melbourne have been highly efficient at the stripe tonight, just their 5th miss. They're 18 of 23 now. The Flyers 8 of 11. Drops the second and it's back to 9 points. And Maddie will sit down with 4 fouls.
She's not happy.
But you can see it is rattling them, isn't it, Graffy? Like they're getting caught up in calls that they don't think should be going against them.
Mitchell to Jackson. Leilani cut and into the corner and lost her feet, but just regained her balance in time. Steps around Jackson. Now back to LJ.
She wants.
Drew the crowd. Couldn't finish.
Right stuff there for the Southside Flyers. Get Jackson and Mitchell in it.
Conti almost throws it away. Reid had to go back and find it. She did go back and find it. Jackson will be fouled, and that'll be her second. It's on Potch.
I mean, they're consistently calling the little reaches in, so Flyers need to adjust here.
It's actually a worse result for Southside because that's Nardio's 4th.
Yeah.
Reid to the line again.
And make some adjustments. Reid has put the ball on the deck every time. Stand off her. Dare her to shoot the 3.
Cheryl Chambers.
And you've said going right.
Stating her case. Graffy, what have you made of the reffing?
Look, I mean, they've been consistent on how they've called it. I'd be saying to my team, get off the referees. How about we focus on our defence? How about contain your man? How about we get rotation? Forget the referees. We're 10 down and we're playing like dog do.
Spot on. Including the dog do.
Thank you for tidying that up. I thought I was going to have to reach for the dump button for a moment. Here's Beck Cole to the corner for Russell. Plenty of time for Southside. Russell has it. Steps inside. Can't finish. Jackson off her hands. Wallace keeps it alive. Spectacular. Conti to Canada. Back to Conti. Living dangerously, the Boomers on that play. Canada floats it. Waits it perfectly for Hillman. And she's fouled.
That is a great pass by Canada.
When it left her hands, Graffy, you'd think, gee, this is a low percentage play, but it was perfect.
Yeah, on the money, almost a quarterback, wasn't it? Look, and they've played together. She knew she had a backside seal. She knows she's got great hands, smaller opponent, And then Hillman's ability to step through that gap. She's got 6'6" Mercedes Russell, one of the best shot blockers in the league, coming across on the help. She knifes through that gap, suckers a foul.
So Southside already 3 team fouls in the first 2.5 minutes, Riss.
Yeah, look, and they just have to keep going at it.
Southside, poor defensive rotation, late to get to gaps, getting their hands in.
Nars up to 16 points.
No split line.
Game high 13-point lead for Melbourne. Dickey to Russell to Potch. Could be Jazz Dickey that provides the spark as she did in game 1.
You can see how Froling fought so hard to get through that screen and then fought for that front position and then gave it up, and that's what happens.
Jackson finishes with class.
Yeah, great finish.
She's going to get to that low block and demand the ball. She's going to try and go to work against Kay Froll.
Canada wraps around. Wallace from the corner. Chance here for the Flyers to bring it back into single digits again. Mitchell to Jackson. As I said, they combine. She uses the space, creates some for herself and finishes.
They've done such a good job of forcing a full front all game, and now the last 2 possessions they've stood behind, and that's what happens.
As Mitchell and Jackson taking control in game 1, you get the feeling the 2 vets are gritting their teeth again in game 2 here. Froling kicks it out. Conti. Out.
I thought that was a great drive by Froling there. She should have tried to score.
On Conti, none for 6 tonight from the field.
Could be a streaky shooter. She can hit him from deep. It's not her night tonight.
Not yet.
Here's Jackson again. Potch came over the top.
Might be her 5th.
And that's Nardio's night done. She fouls out with 6:20 to play.
Not a bad play for centre-half forward.
Crashing in over the top. What an exciting talent she is. She's taken another step this year, still just 19 years of age, playing game 48 tonight. A rising star of Australian basketball, Nadia Potch, and so much fun to watch.
Look, it's tough, isn't it? Because you want your players to get after the O boards like that.
So Boomers by 9, approaching the midway point of this final term. Conti, Hillman, Wallace. Keely's wide open and makes them pay.
Good ball movement, well executed by the Melbourne Boomers, utilising their screens. They did that poorly on Monday night, the other night when they, in their half-court execution.
Chris Lucas doesn't like the call. That last shot, incidentally, a 2-point play. Froling with the foot on the line.
This is where we need replay in the WNBL. I don't know that anyone touched that either, but the ref's in a better position.
So Leilani has the inbound, floats it to Jackson, puts it on the floor against Froling. Wants support, here comes Leilani. Through some traffic, can't finish this time. Hillman plucks it over the top.
Just right place, right time on the boards. Naz Hillman, she's been impressive tonight. 16 points, 9 boards.
Shape to shoot there. Potentially to draw a foul and then pulled out. Knowing that they're in the bonus. Canada creates some space for herself and makes it with a lateral step.
You normally say with a switch like that, you're 1 versus the 5, attack the basket, but do whatever you like, Jordan Canada.
A big sideways step from Canada to create some space and shoots it over one of the greatest of all time.
6'5" length, erupted the crowd. I mean, you talk about momentum swinging plays from MVP, massive.
That is huge.
Melbourne by 13, game high lead with 5:20 to play in this game 2. Let's take you inside their huddle.
All right, listen here. Okay, they will punch it inside. Probably loop punch. 3/4 topside. Get her off the block. On the air time of the pass, try and spike it out. On the weak side. But you're going to have to play 2 wide. Okay. No. All right, what do you got offensively? Offensively, what have you got?
41.
41, here we go.
LJ in the middle.
All right, rebound. Let's go.
Meggs was with the Flyers.
We know that there's some foul trouble for the Flyers, including Potch out of the game, but Maddie Rocci with 4 fouls is back in here with 5 minutes and 20 seconds remaining. Southside looking to trap the next Melbourne Boomers pick and roll.
A timeout brought to you by Ford Aussie Hoops, the perfect introduction to the world of basketball for kids aged 5 to 10. Visit AussieHoops.basketball to register. 13-point game.
Rocci just making sure the referee knows that it's 4 fouls to 0 here, so let's see if they get a couple of cheapies.
Jazz Dickey up against Wallace. She's looking for Jackson. She was covered and Canada picks it off. Will Jordan go herself against Rocci, knowing Maddie's got 4 fouls. Maddie had to stay out.
Jordan Canada, such an amazing player to watch.
Margin at 15. Foul there on Conti. Jordan Canada, 17 points. 16 for Hillman. They're 2-star imports doing what imports do. Shine in big games. Jackson to Dickey. Can she respond here for Southside and get them going? She can. Plenty of time for Southside. We saw in game 1 how quickly they pile on points. And now they know they've just got to pin their ears back and attack.
On the flip side, Boomers just need to be poised and patient here. Use the clock. Get a good high percentage shot.
All in the hands of Jordan Canada as much as possible in this final term for Melbourne. Conti hasn't been her night. Shooting. That one rattles around as well. Jackson comes down with it.
See, that's probably not the look you want for the Boomers. Get the ball back to Jordan Canada. She is on fire at the moment.
Conti now none for 7.
Hillman's 4th foul. Dangerous for the Melbourne Boomers. They go straight out of here. Can you get her out of the game? They have a massive impact.
Especially with Froley, who's got 3 as well. They're the only 2 talls Melbourne have. Maddie Rocci, a quick shot. Is it about minimising possessions now from a Boomers perspective, Riss? Slow the game down? Is it too early to do that? Do you keep playing the way you've been playing?
Just keep playing, but use the clock, absolutely, because that's what works for them. Move the ball, wait for that lane to open. See, that's another, which finally goes in. But if that hadn't have gone in, then, yeah, but credit to Conti. She's not going to die wondering.
Margin to 16. Massive bucket for Mon at a critical time.
So that may have been the nail in the coffin unless the goat gets up.
And she does.
She just pulls that nail out a little bit.
Jackson at 21 off the back of 20 in game 1. LJ into the final decade of her career, let's say. Still got a good 10 years left in it, hasn't she? Canada drives, extracts another foul.
There's still a long time to go in this game. In the last 2 possessions, Boomers just haven't moved the ball as well. So you were asking me earlier, I think they just need to keep moving the ball. They have looked so good all game when they've done that and got really easy baskets. It's created a lane and they've punished it.
And the Flyers now in the team penalty.
What a turnaround from game 1. Credit to the Boomers.
Yeah, they've played desperate D, high-intensity D, strategic, physical on the post. Done a great job trying to minimise Leilani Mitchell.
Their split line, their rotation, their blocking out, it's all been first class.
Rocci, Jackson, she got some more magic. Hillman on 4 fouls. Rocci from long range. Rolls around but won't drop.
Everything but falls.
They're 5 for 24 tonight from long range, Southside. Melbourne, 3 for 17, so it hasn't worked for them either. Mon won't die wondering.
No, she really won't. At least she cleans it up.
She does. Brilliant pass to Hillman, who's fouled.
But the question now for Coach Chambers is at what point do you pull the pin?
Yeah.
You know, do you give this another 40 seconds, see if you can hit a couple of quick threes? But look, the way Southside are playing defensively, I don't know. Do you call it? Do you take out some of those veteran players that you don't want to risk injury, more fatigue?
Game 3.
Are you playing well enough to get back in this one?
Game 3 scheduled for Wednesday night.
Well, Jace, you mentioned how neither team have particularly shot well from the three. The difference is Boomers have made the adjustment. They've put the ball on the floor. Flyers have the cattle to make the adjustments. They just haven't done it consistently by going inside.
Warren Jackson sits down as we head to Meg's courtside.
Well, we know there's been so mumeg player movement between the teams, and Lou Brown, who was part of that Melbourne team that in the corresponding series last year won Game 2, is into the game for the Southside Flyers.
Thanks, Meg. So Russell, Mitchell, Jackson all take a seat.
Yep. Coach Chambers has thrown the towel in on this one. Doesn't want to risk injury, rest those veteran bodies. This one's going to go to 3.
Could be so critical too, given the Boomers are running with a 7-player rotation right now.
You know, and similarly for Coach Lucas, at what point does he pull that pin? The last thing you want is an injury to one of these key players, particularly these two.
Just can't afford it, do they? Just don't have the bodies. Running out of troops.
Just look at that position from Hillman inside. I've not seen, there's not much better than her. The way she used her hips, her feet, she does such a superb job of getting that open seal inside and target for such an undersized big. It's very impressive.
It's a bit Cole now sits as well. And Nars will go back to the line. Chance to get to 20 points for her. She sits on 18. Canada's got 19. Froling 12. Rochi 11, Reed 12. It's been a great spread of scorers.
Oh, that is exactly what you want. We talked before the game how you need everyone to step up, that they needed a contribution right across the board. They have done that and more. It's been very impressive to watch.
And defensively, Chris Lucas told us we'd love to keep Southside in the low 70s. With the troops we have, it's going to be tough, but at the moment they're on track.
65, I mean, yeah. Harking back 10 years where you target teams at 65 to hold them. I mean, that's impressive against the cattle that the Southside Flyers have. You know, they got scorers all over the floor. You know, it's been a defensive masterclass by the Melbourne Boomers tonight.
Dallas Luffridge into the game. Canada picks her off for 2 more.
And without Sarah Blitzarves, I mean, so much credit needs to go to this performance by the Boomers.
Penina Davidson, day-to-day prospect, so she'll be working hard to try and get up for Game 3. Maddie Rochi to the rack for 2 more. Sarah Blitzarves done for the season with that fractured shin. Christy Wallace will be spending a lot of time in an ice bath over the next few days. Recovery for her has been a real grind when she's put some load through her knee, Graffy. It has tended to get a bit angry afterwards, so a really important few days for her. They bring in Rattano now off the bench. They bring in Cherie Kalea. Cherie with the ball now. Hillman. Here's Rattano.
Isn't it a great feeling when you can play your bench too, particularly in an elimination final?
Kalea just a bit heavy on the pass for Froling, so all eyes will be on Christy Wallace and her recovery. Penina Davidson trying to get up for Game 3 just to make sure they've got the bodies to compete.
Absolutely, you know, and Wally at least would come out of this game with some confidence. You know, she hit a couple of good shots, made some good decisions, made that unbelievable flipping, turning, falling over, you know, in the
loopy-doopy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to augur well for her. You know, when you're feeling confident, your recovery feels a little better, your body feels better, your mind feels better. As you say, critical for this Melbourne Boomers team, just as it is for the Southside Flyers. Can they get those older bodies refreshed?
Here's Grace Graham, receives from Reed, off to Kalea. Reed inside, Hillman has been enormous. In fact, that Reed-Hillman Canada triumvirate tonight has been outstanding.
Yeah,
Foley's done her job, so's Rochi.
If you break down those 3 compared to Flyers 3, it's a big, big difference. But I think the Flyers have just allowed themselves to get way too rattled by calls that they didn't like. You can see them all talking to the referees every chance they get. And we all understand it. We've all been there. We get it. But they've just lost their focus.
You maybe focus on defending.
Yeah.
And they can, I mean, it's a talented team. They've got people that can defend, but, you know, credit to the Melbourne Boomers. They went with a strategic approach. It worked for them. They stuck with their guns. But, boy, has she been impressive tonight, Nars Hillman.
She really has.
Not just her, I mean, her scoreline, brilliant, you know, verging on another double-double. But her defence at the other end, you know, her defence on the post was massive. You know, when she was in switch scenarios, help scenarios, she's been impressive all over the floor.
Totally agree.
Vicky over the top, Ernst. Away comes Kalea. Final minute of Game 2. Cherie looking for an option. Hands it off. Paige Burrows to Graham. It's short. Some of the youngsters, the development players who are in there. There's Wisher.
they're nervous. You know, it's a final. They want to make an open shot. They want to make a good assist.
Well, you work all season, Riss. They turn up and put in the same amount of training hours as the main roster players, and it's moments like this that all that work's gone towards.
Absolutely, and they deserve that. You've nailed that. They all work just as hard. Some of them probably work harder because you have to rest your key players, and so they step up at training day in, day out.
Here's Lou Brown. Follows up her own ball, can't finish. And here's Ratunno, come down from Sydney, her first season with the Boomers. Impressed enough to get herself a contract.
Come on, girls, put the shot up. We all want to see you score.
Kalea. Grace Graham. Paige Burrows. Who's going to take the shot? It's going to be Kalea. Final shot. And for the second straight year, the Boomers bounce back from a Game 1 defeat and take it to Game 3. Melbourne keep their season alive with a gritty win that squares the ledger and sends us to a semi-final decider on Wednesday night. Melbourne 88, Southside 67 at the Boombox.
I hope you don't have any plans for Wednesday.
21 points the final margin. It was the biggest margin of the game. And Jordan Canada had 21 points. Here she is with Megs.
Well, Jordan Canada, that's how you get it done and send it to Game 3.
Yeah, we knew coming in that we could keep up with this team, and we just had to be aggressive. And I think we set the tone in the beginning of the first half. And then last game, our third quarter was kind of messed us up. So we made an emphasis in the third quarter to just make sure we're still being aggressive, getting inside the paint, taking good shots, and taking care of the ball.
Tell me about the grit, the determination, the character of this team. You've had more injuries than a hospital ward. It's continued today with the news about Sarah Blitzards. You really had 7 in the rotation. Tell us about the character.
Well, all season long, we haven't played with our full roster. So we already know that we have to be resilient and we have to fight. And that's our identity, you know. We don't give up on each other. We make sure that we're playing hard for each other. And, you know, games like this is really important, and we know that. So we just got to make sure we continue that momentum for Game 3.
You've had an incredible season, an MVP campaign, as we know. But what about Naz Hillman? She's been Miss Consistency and huge again for you today. How fun is it playing with her?
I love playing with Naz. She's our anchor. Honestly, you know, when she's going, we got to give her the ball. And when she's playing aggressive, we're all playing aggressive. So we feed off of her energy and her communication. Like I said, she's our anchor. And, you know, we wouldn't be here without Naz.
Well, we're going to see you on Wednesday. It is your home court, but it is Southside Flyers' home game. The crowd was amazing today. I'm sure you'd like to urge everyone to come out and get you guys over the line and into a grand final.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting Game 3. We need to make sure all our Boomer fans are back here on Wednesday. And, you know, hopefully we'll get the job done.
Get in and see your team. Well done tonight, Jordan.
Thank you.
Riz, so often in big games, it's about a spread of contributors. And you look at Melbourne, 22 to Hillman, 21 to Canada, 12 to Froling, 12 to Reid, 11 to Rochi. Compare that to the Flyers, 21 for Jackson, 15 for Russell, 11 for Ernst. And they were the only threes in doubles.
I mean, 5 players in double figures is impressive on any night, but to do it against the calibre of the Flyers is even more impressive. Credit to the Boomers. That is the perfect spread, and you could not ask for more.
Rafi, from a Flyers perspective, they are a fantastic team. They've had a great year. They've won 7 of their last 10, 4 of their last 6. They've got 3 days to respond and react. What's the message from Cheryl straight after this game, and what do they go to work on?
Defence, defence, defence. I mean, they don't even need to look at the film. They'll go in and change rooms and go, what were we doing this evening? I mean, they couldn't have contained an under 12 penetration. I mean, it was gobsmacking. They'll say it. I mean, with all due respect to them, they're a hell of a team, but they were a disaster defensively, and they didn't adjust. It's all there. Their defence, that was it. Defence, and then the boards. I think they got outplayed in intensity. Melbourne Boomers were desperate. They played what finals were all about. It's about defensive pressure and intensity.
Well, Amy Rocci was part of the player exodus, the big mass swap between the Boomers and the Flyers. She was the Flyers skipper this time last year. Here she is with Megs leading the Boomers.
She sure was, and Amy Rocci was just saying to me off air, it's been a while since she did a post-game interview, but Amy, come of the moment, come of Amy Rocci. It has been an incredible story of this final series to see you go into the starting lineup, have the impact you have had in 2 games. It's been a big 12 months because this time last year you were captain of the other mob and you were on the bench injured.
Yeah, it's been a big turnaround for me. I worked really hard in the off-season to get myself ready to play again and play whatever role the Boomers needed of me. You know, we lost Sarah Blitzarves, which is massive, so to step into the starting lineup when you've got other people like T and Christy Wallace coming off the bench, you know, it's an honour and I just got to put my best foot forward.
How hard was those 12 months where at the Flyers you were injured? You played, I think, 8 games last season and we never saw you after early December. How tough was it? Take us through it. You know, it's a huge thing to have got through with that, to be back here playing.
Yeah, I hated every second of it. I think being captain was really tough, trying to lead from the bench. I probably didn't admit to my team just how much I was struggling with all of that. So, yeah, it's something that I'd like to forget about. It's nice to have a fresh start and enjoy basketball because last season was really hard personally. We had a pretty good year as a team, which was really nice, and yeah, it's good to be a Boomer.
You are an ultimate professional, a veteran of this league. You've got a stack of finals experience. Take us through how you were ready to step into this starting lineup on Wednesday night.
It's funny, I don't really approach finals any different. I think, you know, Chris has asked me to be a leader in this situation, and I think the way I've done that is by being calm. My teammates tell me all the time, in Amy we trust, which is a bit of a joke, but it's because I think my ability to stay calm in these situations is one of my strengths. So I've played a lot of final series and it's just another one, and hopefully we can pinch that game 3. It's exciting.
Well, it's a mirror image Final 4 to last year, but it's a completely different situation. You were captain of the Flyers when they lost to the Boomers in Game 2. Now you're with the Boomers. So how do the Boomers go and get this done on Wednesday? Is it momentum? Is it locking down like you did today?
Yeah, the Boomers owe the Flyers one, don't they? So it's nice to be on this side. I think just rebound like we did tonight, play defence like we did tonight and get after it. You never know what will happen in finals.
Well, Amy, it's just been a wonderful WNBL story to see you have the impact you have in these final series. There's more to come and we can't wait to see you on Wednesday.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
14th season for Amy Rocci. She started with Dandenong. She was a Dandenong junior, came right through their junior system. She would have had plenty to do with her 238 games, 2 championships with the Flyers. And we spoke about her leadership and her composure, and she referred to it there.
I absolutely loved working with Amy. Everything, I absolutely back everything she said there. She's always calm, doesn't get flustered, and she is at such still. She's such a veteran of the league now, and it's so that makes my heart so full watching that because I know what she's been through to get back to where she is now.
So much basketball still to come. We look ahead tomorrow. We've got a massive game coming up between the Fire and the Lynx, and then this one going to Game 3 with all the passion and the excitement and the intensity that you expect from a Melbourne derby at any time, Graffy, let alone when there's a spot on the line in the grand final. And we think back to last year, that Game 3, one of the greatest WNBL games we've ever seen.
Yeah, absolute ripper. And Game 3, absolutely guarantee will be the same. All on the line. Who can apply pressure? Who can handle pressure? Who can dominate possession? It's going to be a corker.
All about adjustments now. Adjustments, little tweaks for Southside to make, just as the Boomers had to make after Game 1. As we look ahead tomorrow, Lynx and the Fire. That is a fascinating series now as well, Riss. After the Perth Lynx grabbed the first game, Townsville now go to Perth to fight for their season.
Absolutely, and the Fire would be really hurting after Game 1. That was right there for the taking, and they would have been, and you could see it all over their faces afterwards. They were so disappointed. I cannot wait to see how they respond.
That game coming up tomorrow, 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 WA, 2:30 in Queensland. Game 2 of the Lynx and the Fire at the Bendak Basketball Centre in Perth. Graffy, I cannot wait.
Yeah, it's going to be a ripper. There's no question Towns will come out with the same desperation we saw from the Melbourne Boomers tonight. That one's got, the underdog Perth can do anything, but I'm going to say Townsville are going to get that. It's going to go to 3 as well.
Every Cygnett WNBL finals match live on ESPN. Well, that wraps up Game 2 from the Boombox. Thanks to Foot Locker, a gutsy backs-to-the-wall win from the Melbourne Boomers to take this series to Game 3. On behalf of Carrie Graff, Larissa Anderson, Megan Huswaite, our entire production team, thanks so much for watching. Join us again tomorrow. Game 2 of the Lynx and the Fire.